What is going on, guys? It's your one of the Gamers Goon here today with your WWE Crown Jewel review. Now, you might be looking at me, Gamers Goon, why are you doing a Crown Jewel review? That's because I said I would. And believe it or not, Crown Jewel was not a bad show. Unlike my day today, Crown Jewel did okay. That's a whole different story. That's a whole different story. Um, I might have lost $100 today from my bank account because I might have got hacked. I might have had two armed robberies confirmed in my location, in my area that I walk by every day. So there might be a few reasons why I wasn't having a great day, but the WWE did a phenomenal job today. This was the best Crown Jewel pay-per-view. This was the best Saudi Arabia pay-per-view that WWE has done to this point. The WWE, as we all joked around about many times, the Saudi Arabia shows are miserable. They are terrible. And honestly, the only thing out of Saudi that really I think everybody was concerned with is whether or not the performers will be exiting Saudi. I've not seen anything yet. I imagine it wouldn't be until tomorrow, anyways, that a certain number of talent would be able to fly out of Saudi Arabia and get back to the States. As we know, last time that they got kind of stuck on the runway there for a little bit. Kind of was scary there for a second. We thought maybe they wouldn't be coming back, but they will be coming back, at least at this point. I think that's probably everybody's biggest concern about going back to Saudi. But the show was okay. This was probably one of the better WWE shows so far this year, which isn't saying a lot. I've seen a lot of people act like this was better than All Out. No, but was it a bad show? No. Was it a bad show? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Was it a great show? No. It was an okay show. It was an okay show. Anyways, let's get right into it. We started off the show on the pre-show. Believe it or not, the Saudi Arabia show did have a pre-show, and for some reason I was tuned in. Mind you, I had to go through class and everything today, so that was also fun trying to navigate that. But we had the Usos go up against Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, the Hurt Business. And this match was good. It was okay for a pre-show match. But I just don't understand what the deal is with Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. I don't understand why we couldn't have kept them around, Bobby Lashley and MVP, why we couldn't have kept the Hurt Business together, because at one point it was one of the greatest things going on Monday Night Raw. I don't understand why we couldn't have kept those things, those good things together. Obviously, the Usos were going to win. They always were going to win. Solid match on the pre-show. Nothing of note, really, but it was a solid match. It wasn't a bad match. And then we get into the main show, and the main show starts off hot, man. We start off with Hell in a Cell. We start off with Edge and Rollins. We start off in the red cage, and I'm thinking, holy hell, they're going to just make a mockery of Hell in a Cell. No. Very solid match, hard-hitting match. And at the end of this thing, Edge is walking out victorious. He beats Rollins. And I'm going to be honest, I did not expect Edge to beat Rollins in Saudi Arabia. The match was fine. Obviously, there was the next story told with Edge and how he took time off because of his neck injury. And then, obviously, Seth Rollins being the kind of like we all know the kind of guy Seth Rollins is, the kind of heel he is. He's going to exploit an injury. He's going to exploit the flaw in your system. He was trying to do that, but it did not work. Edge able to pick up the victory at the end of this thing. So, Edge and Rollins, presumably their chapter is over in the WWE. You don't go to Hell in a Cell to be a middle aspect of a feud. You go to Hell in a Cell to end a feud, and Edge, that leaves Edge 2-1 for Rollins. Very good match to open out the show, and it should be the last time we see Edge and Rollins. Then we had Monsoor versus Ali. I like the match. Monsoor, let me tell you something. In Saudi Arabia, he's a hero. He's a star. He is a national star in Saudi Arabia. They use every resource they can in Saudi Arabia to make Monsoor look like that guy. Ali loses this match. Monsoor wins. They have Tariq Hamidi. I might be saying that wrong. Apparently he is I believe, silver medal Olympian. And he came down after the match wearing one of the traditional the head garment and the robe that we see a lot of the Saudi Arabia people wear. We saw him walk on down. I'm thinking, what the fuck are we doing right now? And this guy, he's a legit fighter. I know nothing about him, but I saw a couple of video clips of him. It seems like he's an Olympian. He came out there, gave Ali a kick to the head, looked kind of brutal, hugged Monsoor, and Monsoor walked out of there. One thing I will say is, imagine them putting this much effort and this much investment into Monsoor in the United States. Yeah, Monsoor looks good today. But what if we were to make Monsoor invest similar resources and invest as much time into making sure this guy comes off as big and important? What if we made sure that happened all the time, not just when he's in Saudi Arabia? Because this guy could easily be an Intercontinental Champion, easily be a United States Champion. I could easily see him being a contender. I'm not saying he's going to win, but I could see him contending for a World Championship. I don't know if he's World Championship caliber because I haven't seen him with the title yet. And that is something that I would love to see on Monsoor. I would love to see an experiment with Monsoor where he gets an Intercontinental Championship title run. As for Ali's always the victim of being in the wrong spot at the wrong time, man. Going into his duo of Monsoor and Ali, obviously everybody comes in thinking Ali's one of the top guys, and I'm coming in thinking, well, I kind of like Monsoor. And then more and more as we see them together, I start to grow on Monsoor, and then obviously they split up. Kind of want to see Monsoor now. So, I mean, he's just always at the wrong spot. Mansoor, hopefully, will go off and do good things on his own. Is it likely? Probably not, but hopefully they invest similar resources in Mansoor going forward because he's solid. He is very solid. As for his savior after a post-match beatdown, I don't know whether or not you need to be brought on over to a weekly episode of any show, to be honest with you. That might just be a one-off type of deal. Then we got RK Bro going up against AJ and Omos. Randy Orton looking at his tag team partner Riddle, who is coming on down on a camel's back to the ring. Very interesting. They had 3 or 4 camels just chilling, like on the ring entrance side. I was like, what the fuck what are we doing? I don't know, man. Yeah. It was an interesting day for wrestling. It really was. But there was a camel there for Riddle. And surprisingly, this match had some decent reactions. So in points in the show, I really believe that they were piping crowd noise because you're hearing and their clapping is not matching with the audio of the clapping that we're getting. But during this, I believe that the crowd was actually invested. Believe it or not, this Saudi Arabia crowd was not a great crowd by any means, but it wasn't as bad as they've been. They looked more invested this time around. They looked like they wanted to be there this time around. They didn't look like they were just sitting there. They were showing some excitement. It was a very loose kind of crowd. It wasn't a loose crowd, but more loose than what we've seen with the Saudi Arabia people. Um, I don't know the situation going on in Saudi Arabia, and I'm not going to speak on that situation because I don't know anything about it. But to me, the Saudi Arabia crowd came and they tried to be active in this show. And Randy Orton was one of their guys, man. Randy Orton was one of those guys that they actually knew. They gave him a decent reaction. Fans were cheering for him. It wasn't a great match, but it was okay. It was an okay match. And RK Bro goes out winning. Fan favorites go out winning. And then this was the worst part of the show. This was the big baffling one. This is the what the fuck are you doing, WWE? This is the equivalent of Bray Wyatt and Goldberg. This is the equivalent of Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. This is this year's what the fuck moment from Crown Jewel, and that was Zelina Vega and Doudrop. What the fuck, man? This shit was awful. It was awful. It was laughable. Zelina Vega comes out there. She beats Doudrop. I don't even know how long this match went. This match could not have lasted long. It could not have lasted over 5 minutes. It was legitimately a joke. It was the most laughable excuse and finish to a tournament I think I've ever seen. It was not good. It came off and made the Queen's Crown look lame. It just did not feel. It was 5 minutes and 55 seconds. It was 5 minutes and 55 seconds that it took Zelina Vega to beat Doudrop. And it was laughable. It was laughable. Think of everybody that you could have had win. Think of the Toni Storm. Think of everybody that could have won the very first Queen's Crown tournament. You could have the Sasha Bankses. You could have a Charlotte Flair. Granted, I'm naming champions right now, but you could have had a Toni Storm. You could have had a Shayna Baszler. You could have had a Liv Morgan. You could have had a Asuka. Nope, we're going to go with Zelina Vega. Maybe we're going to go with Zelina Vega because her husband's in the other company, so we want to kind of stick it to him and be like, you know what, you could have done something here. You could have done something here, Mr. Black. Malachi, you could have done something here. We're investing resources into your wife to make her look like a fake queen. I'm not a big fan. I am not a big fan of that match at all. It was an embarrassment. If you did like the Zelina Vega Doudrop match, then God bless you. And then we got Goldberg versus Lashley. Solid match. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of on the phone back and forth during this match because this is at the point where I realized that my PayPal got hacked and I lost $100 because somebody transferred $100 that I did not authorize from my PayPal account. I got a suspicious login, and then literally 20 seconds later, I get a notification before I can even switch my fucking password. So I was on the phone trying to figure that shit out. It's still not resolved, but it's getting handled right now. But that I was kind of back and forth. So this match didn't have 100% of my attention. From what I saw, it was pretty good. There was a cool table spot between Goldberg and Lashley. Goldberg hit a spear off the ramp for Lashley, and Goldberg ended up beating Lashley. Now, good. It was a solid match. It is what it is. And now, finally, hopefully, this is it for Goldberg. Go on. Go back into retirement. We don't want to see you anymore. I don't want to get a feud with you featured in it. I don't want to see you and Roman Reigns. I don't want to see you and Edge. I don't want to see you and Rollins. I don't want to see you and Big E. I don't want to see you and whomever. It's time to go away. It's time to hang up the boots. I don't give a shit if you want your son to see you wrestle. He's seen you do it. You're 50 fucking years old. Go back, go to retirement, and call it a day. Just hang it up, Goldberg. Go. Go home. You didn't have a horrible performance. That's something to hang your head high on, Goldberg. This was not your worst performance since returning. This might have been your best performance since returning, to be honest with you. You actually had some cool spots. It's time to go back into retirement. It's over for you. You got to win. Now go back to retirement. Please, for the love of God. For the love of God, go back to retirement. Next we get Xavier Woods going up against Finn Balor, and the winner of the King of the Ring. Oh, man. I feel so bad for Xavier Woods. This wasn't a bad match. Finn Balor, Xavier Woods, they did their thing, but this match didn't feel important whatsoever. It felt really lame. It felt really anticlimactic. It just felt not important. And the story going into this is that Xavier Woods, the one thing he's wanted his entire WWE career was to be a King of the Ring winner. He was on red carpet events in 2016 talking about the WWE 2K product, and he would be sitting there saying one day he wants to be the guy at the King of the Ring tournament. I don't know what it was necessarily, but something felt off. Xavier Woods won this match. He celebrated becoming King of the Ring, but it did not feel important whatsoever. I think they probably could have used a lot more resources and a lot more time to carefully construct a better King of the Ring tournament. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think instead of doing the King of the Ring finals at Saudi, we should have probably extended this longer, or maybe even waited closer to Survivor Series, and we could have seen something along the lines of a Survivor Series matchup between the winner of the SmackDown side of the bracket for the King of the Ring and the Raw winner for their side of the bracket on the King of the Ring go up against each other on Survivor Series. And not only are they becoming a King of the Ring winner, they're also getting a win for their brand. And hopefully we make the Survivor Series have real stakes this year instead of just brand superiority, because nobody believes in that shit, man. Nobody believes in that shit. What are you more superior for? Nobody gives a shit. Then we got into Sasha versus Bianca versus Becky. Very solid match with a kind of shitty ending. They had a very, very good match. Man, I don't want to be the one to say it, but somebody has to say it. I do not like the way that the Saudi Arabia treats women's performers. What they have them do is they wear long sleeve shirts, long sleeve pants, and then they wear their own merchandise over it. And it just comes off weird. Honestly, I'd rather prefer either just wrestling in the long clothing or just wrestling in the t-shirt. And I believe the mindset there is you can't show skin, so the t-shirt one's off the thing. But obviously WWE wants to get their branding in. They want to make sure that they have their logos on stuff. But their shit, their design shirts are shit, man. God damn, their fucking shirts today were awful. They were hideous. I got about 3 Sasha Banks shirts in this closet right here, and they're all better than the shit they had Sasha, the actual designed shirt they had Sasha wear. Bianca, I'm gonna be honest. Outside of my WrestleMania shirt for Bianca, I'm really struggling to think of what her main roster shirt looks like. But the shirts that they had them wearing were ridiculous. They looked off-brand. They looked like a fucking Amazon purchase, a fucking secondary market, a fucking fake, a fraudulent company was providing them. It was hideous. It looked cheap. It looked cheap. That's a different story, obviously. But that was irritating to me, at least. It's just really weird. Really, really weird. Saying just basically two layers on somebody. Like, I feel like you could have just got away with the long sleeve. I don't know. It's just weird to me. But anyways, match, like I said, was good, but it ended up with a shitty finish, which was a roll-up on Sasha Banks. I don't understand why you would pin Sasha. It was to my belief that Sasha would end up becoming a champion on SmackDown, but that does not seem to be the case, as she was the one to take the pin and not Bianca. I guess Bianca has more stock than Sasha Banks right now. Does the pin necessarily mean Sasha can't be a champion now? But I think Sasha's going to be winning a championship anytime soon, taking a pin from Becky. No, she ain't winning the title anytime soon. And then we got into the main event of the evening, man. We got into Roman Reigns going up against Ponytail Brock Lesnar. Ponytail Brock Lesnar, man, I don't know what it is about him, but I kind of like it. But really the big story here is Heyman, he tossed the title in to the ring. It kind of landed in between Roman and Brock. Who did he throw it to? Nobody knows. Who did he throw it to? Was it to help Brock? Was it to help Rollins? Or was it to help Roman? Who knows? But it does not matter. It does not matter because the Usos come on down there. They take out Brock Lesnar, who grabs the title. And Roman Reigns walks out of Saudi Arabia, still your WWE champion. He is still the champion there for the Universal Championship. He's still the guy walking out, and he will still be the Tribal Chief come every Friday night on SmackDown. Was it a good match? Yeah, it was probably their best match yet, if you ask me. Some people didn't like the ending. I didn't mind it. I just hope this is the last time we see Roman and Brock. I'm not saying that this was a bad match and that's why this one's the last time. We've just seen these guys too many fucking times. It's time to call it quits. Stop while you're ahead. You got a decent match out of them. It was a pretty good match. Was it the match of the night? Probably not. I would probably say the Hell in a Cell match was. But you had a good show. You had a good show in Saudi that I don't think anybody thought you could. You had a good show. If I was rating out of 10, I'd give it a 7. You had a good show. You didn't have a great show, but you had a good show. And you were the main event of it. Capitalize on that. Call it quits. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, let the final chapter be in Saudi. We don't need to see it again. We don't need to see it at another WrestleMania. We don't need to see it at a SummerSlam. We don't need to see it at a Survivor Series. It is over. It is over. Maybe this leads into Roman Reigns kicking out Paul Heyman. I don't know. Maybe Paul Heyman goes back to Brock. I don't know. But I want this to end. It's done. It is done. No more. Finished. Do you understand me? End it. But like I said, Crown Jewel, surprisingly, it was a solid pay-per-view. And I can't even use the thumbnail I made for it last night. I made a thumbnail last night that was going to be Crown Jewel, Clown Fools, fails again. But it didn't fail. And I'm not going to be using that thumbnail. So you made me make a thumbnail and you end up having a good show. So Vince, I give you a round of applause on that. But this was probably one of the better pay-per-views of WWE this year. But anyways, I'm going to get on out of here. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see you next time. I'm going to see you all on the WC Gamers News. Like I said, I'll see you next time.